Hello student, today we are going to study aptitude test. The definition of aptitude test is a test designed to determine a person's ability in a particular skill or field of knowledge. An aptitude test, by definition, is any type of assessment that evaluates the talent, ability, potential to perform a certain task with no prior knowledge and or training. An aptitude test is an exam used to determine an individual's propensity to succeed in a given activity. Aptitude tests assume that individuals have inherent strengths and weaknesses and are naturally inclined towards success or failure in certain areas based on their innate characteristics. An aptitude test does not test knowledge. It is not a test for which one can study. So, any aptitude test is actually determined by its innate as well as acquired capabilities. The example of aptitude test is medical examination, which is for entrance in any course or program, or any banking services examination to enter into that profession. Before that, they need to have a training in banking services. For that, any aptitude test is taken. Again, the definition of aptitude test is an aptitude test is designed to assess what a person is capable of doing or to predict what a person is able to learn or do given the right education and instruction. It represents a person's level of competency to perform a certain type of task. Such aptitude tests are often used to assess academic potential or career suitability. That is why an aptitude test is futuristic. It is conducted to determine and to take wise decision for its future. Aptitude tests are similar to skill and intelligence tests and are used to determine an individual's capability in performing particular task, but an aptitude test is not an intelligence test. Aptitude tests frequently consist of items that are intended to evaluate the taker's spatial abilities inside a designated area. That is why an aptitude test is decided to use during school education, especially when a student is in class 9th or 10th. An aptitude test is taken to decide upon its future vocation and that therefore to take what is to be taken as stream of studies, whether it is science, arts or commerce. That is how a better future could be decided for a student. Aptitude test versus intelligence test. As I have said that aptitude test is similar to intelligence test, but an aptitude test is not intelligence test. So what is the difference? Many intelligence tests, when we consider the aptitude test, we should know that many intelligence tests are designed to measure what is known as general intelligence or an underlying global mental capacity that affects performance in all areas. So, any intelligence test can be known as general mental ability, and intelligence encompasses including problem solving, reasoning, memory, knowledge and ability to adapt a changing environment. So, this is what an intelligence test is. But when we talk about aptitude tests on the other hand are designed to measure a much narrower range of abilities than IQ tests do. However, some aptitude tests might have a very narrower focus that limits what they are able to predict. Other tests look at multiple domains are much similar to intelligence tests. So these are the very broad areas or very broad focal points of differences in aptitude test and intelligence test. Now, what are the types of aptitude test? There are two basic different types of aptitude test: spatial aptitude test and multiple aptitude test. So, what is spatial aptitude test? Spatial aptitude tests are those designed to look at an individual's capacity in a particular area. For example, imagine that a business wants to hire a computer programmer to work for their company. They will likely look at a range of things, including work history and interview performance. But they might also want to administer an aptitude test to determine if job candidates possess the necessary skill to perform the job. This spatial aptitude test is designed to look at a very narrow range of ability. How skilled and knowledgeable the candidate is at computer programming. Similarly, if any banking services sector wants to hire an accountant, for this an aptitude test is conducted. A spatial aptitude test is conducted to hire the person to know whether the person is good at accountancy or not, whether the person has the aptitude for accountancy or not, for a future vocation to be taken, and for the effective hiring of for the company. Similarly, the multiple aptitude tests are designed to measure two or more different abilities. In some cases, such tests even resemble intelligence tests in terms of their focus and scope. Moreover, in some cases during school education, students are given multiple aptitude tests where a comparison of aptitude could be seen, and these aptitude tests are more or less known as battery, the series of tests which each test determines a spatial aptitude, and that determines where the aptitude of a student lies. The Scholastic Assessment Test or SAT, which is popularly taken for overseas universities for the admission in undergraduate programs, and the Scholastic Assessment Test that high school students take during their senior year is a good example of a multiple aptitude test. So in SAT or Scholastic Assessment Test, it is determined for which program a student is suitable for. Significance of aptitude test. Aptitude tests are used for a variety of purposes and are administered by assorted sources. Teachers use these tests to measure their students' performances. Schools may use them to determine an individual's knowledge within certain fields, and employers often use them to identify the candidate that is most capable or best suited for a job. In addition, aptitude-based tests are regarded as one of the most useful varieties of career tests. Educational purposes of aptitude test. Aptitude tests that are intended for educational use include the Scholastic Assessment Test or SAT, which we have just discussed, the American College Testing Exam ACT, and the Differential Aptitude Test DAT or DAT, which assesses one's particular skills and overall academic competency. The differential aptitude test or DAT is also one of the most commonly used tests for personal and career assessment. What are the occupational purposes of aptitude test? Many aptitude tests are created to check an individual's specific skills that are relevant to the job at hand. For staffing and assessment purposes, employers utilize tests like the Personality and Preference Inventory (PAPI), Rust Alpha, Situational Judgment Test, GTIOS Psychometric Test, PSL, and Watson-Glaser Critical Thinking Test. Similarly, the test taken during any vocation or any profession is also aptitude test, supposed to be aptitude test if scientifically made. Now, what are the features of aptitude test? There are many kinds of aptitude tests that seek to gauge one's capacity in a certain area, such as verbal, numerical, clerical, sensory, spatial or mechanical, and logic and reasoning skills. Need and importance of aptitude test. What are the needs and importance of aptitude test? That is, to know whether an individual will become a good teacher, a good physician, a good social worker, or a good artist, etc. To help individuals to choose professions according to their aptitude. To select workers for particular jobs and vocations. To help the counselor to render appropriate and exact counseling service according to aptitude. To help the school authority to reduce the number of probable failures. Uses of aptitude test. These tests are useful to assist high school students in the proper choice of courses such as science, arts and commerce. They are extensively used in helping students to make choice relating to their future occupation such as army, air force, military, banking services, medicine, architecture, and so on. They are sometimes used for selection of students for admission in colleges and technical institutes. We are very much aware of joint entrance examination for medical and engineering. They are very useful to make prediction about an individual's probable success in courses and career. Now, what are the limitations of aptitude test? Overall, aptitude test is proven to be very effective test to determine the wise decision for the future of a student in any educational setting, especially for the school education. So, if we take this aptitude test for a child or for a student during its secondary classes, it is proven to be very effective. But there must be some limitations in aptitude test. So they are: the physical, social, emotional environment of the pupil is often different from the actual environment in the job or in college. This reduces the predictive value of aptitude test. Secondly, an aptitude test gives us a prediction of the probability only. There is never any certainty that prediction will always come true. It is noticed that brilliant students sometimes fail to top the list, while an average student who has initially not doing well may top the list. Various factors contribute in a course or career. Aptitude is not the sole factor for success in a course or career. Moreover, there are different factors, environmental, familial factors, which may affect the scores while taking aptitude test.